Stand together in the ocean, all together in a moment. Forget the weather, make the sand out of snow. Sand out of snow.
What's happening, honkies? How are you doing? Stay black. LGBTQ. Queuing up for your rights. Power to the people. How are you doing, the people? Episode 78. I'm back. Just a wee one this week. Little short one. I've got some guests in the pipeline, but I thought I'd just drop in with you. First of all,
I'll tell you a wonderful story, simple one.
a little small story for you. No, there isn't really a story. I just wanted to show off that I've got a silly soundboard now. But it's probably not the way I should do it like that.
Not like this.
Not like this. Extra points for recognising what these are from in the comments. That'd be good. What was I gonna talk to you all about? It was gonna be, oh yeah. So the election's been on. Don't worry, it's not gonna be boring as fuck. And it was a crazy time. I was interested in it. I wanted to see if Trump would be out, because it's just very interesting. Knowing that he might not be the president for another 4 years could change things quite a lot. The one thing I will say about it is I saw a video yesterday, and I didn't watch any of the debates or anything like that. I just heard a lot about them, and I was going to say the news, but I mean memes. And there was this video of the moderator in the debate. I'm assuming it was the second one because they weren't able to interrupt each other. And she says, if you are elected, imagine that it's inauguration day, if I said that right. I don't know. And you're now addressing the American people. What would you say to the voters that didn't vote for you? And she goes, first President Trump, and he doesn't answer that question. He just talks about China, talks about just crazy shit, and then starts saying about how Joe Biden won't be good if he's your president, completely ignoring the fact that the question was, if you have been voted in, so why are you talking about Biden? And the entire time he stood there just like fixing his tie, and then he's had all this time to think of it, and he actually answers the question correctly, the way that it should be answered, and he seems like he cares. And whether or not you like Trump or Biden, whether or not what's the term? The lesser of two evils. At least Biden looks like he cares. Like that's the whole thing. Is like, if a president has at least stood on the podium saying things that are gonna make the American people feel better. And Boris Johnson is kind of at least doing that. He steps up on the little podium in that weird room that they have where there's three of them and he's in the middle. As if it's some sort of game show, like catchphrase or something. And he addresses the nation about COVID and that. At least he's trying to be like, well, what we need to do. And he's being like that about it rather than just being like, the American people don't understand. I don't know, I can't do an impression of Trump, but it's an egotistical, crazy guy to be president. So it's a good job that it's changed now. I'm excited to see what happens though, because he's not gonna go out without a fight, I believe. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But that was interesting, and that's my dumb layman's view on it. I'm on episode 78 now. I've been trying to promo the podcast a bit more, put out more clips and things like that. So if you haven't, go and check out the guests on the last few podcasts. Thanks for watching though. If you aren't already, click subscribe and that, and like. And the general vibe of being here is, it's just like,
what's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Just whether or not there's a woman on the podcast, whether or not there's a dog. It's just,
what's better than this? Guys being dudes.
What's better than this? I'm going to annoy people with that, I can tell already. Just make loads of mouse signs. People are gonna love that. What am I going? So it's lockdown again, isn't it? Oh yeah, lockdown again. I'm pretty sure in the last podcast with Breezy, he was saying about, it's tier 3 and it might be lockdown again, and now it is. I'm not working, been furloughed from both jobs, so I've got a few things in mind that are going to be like little projects to work on while this is happening. Because it's a good opportunity now for a lot of the people who were like made all these plans at the beginning of the last lockdown. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to learn piano. I'm going to become fluent in Spanish. Well, because you didn't do that the first time, because it was just overwhelming how long it was that we were doing that for, now you've got a second chance to do it, I guess. If you're not working, if you're furloughed, if you can't go into uni and you've got a bit more free time and all that, then start the thing that you're going to do. So I've got just a few little projects in mind. It's a lot of video stuff, like having things. I'm thinking of getting clips, putting them on the Comedy Vault page, YouTube page, making one, sharing clips of different comedians and stuff. So if you are watching and you have been on Comedy Vault and you want me to put your clip online, let me know. And then other than that, there's a few little video projects like I want to help someone else out with. And then there's a few things that I just want to do myself, just to keep me busy. And other than that, I need to fix my bike because it punctured, and ride my bike around in that. I was walking, hold on.
I will tell you wonderful stories, simple ones.
Simple one. I was walking on the road near mine, and I get this all the time where you're just walking and someone's on the phone and they're looking down like this, and then at the very last second when they see your feet in their little tiny like why am I struggling with so much with this one sentence? In their tiny little in their periphery. No. I feel like just cutting all of this out. This is what happens when a guy tries to think of a word that's really simple but there's a camera in front of him. In his field of vision. Does that make any sense? When he's on his phone, he's just there and everything else is blocked out. He's just concentrating on, I must get likes on Instagram. When he's writing out a tweet about walking through the streets of Manchester. Oh, do you know what I've noticed about the streets of Manchester now? So many people not wearing masks. I saw a group of 8 people before. Whatever. As he's doing that, he's walking towards me. I'm just walking towards him going like, go on, hit me. I'm walking towards them, wanting them to walk into me. And at that very last second, when your feet come into the field of vision, they, and then they just kind of get out of your way. Well, that happens a lot, but I also noticed with people in cars, there's this fucking crazy old bat the other day. And she is in the car, she just, do you know when cars creep up next to you and just going at the same speed as you're walking, as if they're going to open the window and go, excuse me mate, where's the library? Well, that was happening, and I hate that because you want to stop and let them go forward, but then you just got to catch up to them again, or you're just like, why are you creeping next to me? It's weird. You're in a big scary vehicle, I can't see inside your windows, it's dark. And as I was doing that, I'm about to cross the road in the back streets of where I live, and this lady's looking left, I'm on the right side, and as she goes to turn right whilst looking left, I know she's gonna just she's gonna turn the car anyway without looking, so I step into the road knowing that she's gonna do that. She turns at the last minute, slams on, and then just puts her indicator on, as if to say, I was going this way the entire time. No, you're a daft bitch. You cuckoo. That was a wonderful story, simple one. Yeah. What else has been going on? I was actually going to make a little call to one of the comedians. I forgot to arrange that. How would you feel about me calling Jamie Hobson? Anybody know Jamie Hobson? He used to come to, used to do stand up used to do, well, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying as well, it wasn't exactly stand-up. And by that I mean, it was every week, it was a abstract, avant-garde, I don't even know what that means, performance. Where I remember one week he turned up in like a police officer's hat. Do you know, like you've gone to a costume store and got a police officer thing, the Bobby's one. And I'm sure he's wearing hot pants and like some weird vest thing. And he was just joking about how Anne Frank's a slut. So yeah, if you want to know what the fuck all that's about, I'll ring him up next podcast that I do solo and have a chat to him. Yeah, we'll get that arranged because that should be interesting. What else has been going on? I went and saw my mum for a couple of days while I'd gotten a negative COVID test recently. And I knew we were going into lockdown and stuff. Just a few other things happened. I went and stayed with her for a few days in her place. It's like on the other side of Wigan, so it was kind of out the way of Manchester, and I missed it while I was there. You know, I missed just walking about Manchester amongst all the people. That was like way out in the middle of nowhere, and if you don't have a car, you don't have friends around, and you can't really do anything because it's lockdown. It got boring pretty quick, but it was fun while I was with my mum. We watched 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. You seen that film? Yeah, I've seen it before, but I remember mentioning it to her. Like, it came on the TV on an advert one time, and I said, "Oh, it's good that." When I saw her not long ago, "It's good that." She was like, "Oh, I tried watching that, couldn't finish it." She recorded it. When I went round, we watched it together. It was very nice. She said that she stopped halfway through it. She must not have been in the mood for it, but I think she did enjoy it. Apart from the end, when it finished, she just went, "Oh," as if like, what a boring ending. But it's one of those endings where it's up for interpretation of, well, not so much that, it's just more like, it's not the closure that you expect in films, but it's the closure that story needed. So I don't like it when a film, it's like, oh, I hope that they find the person that they've been looking for the entire film, the thing that they've been battling with the entire time. I hope that's resolved. I hope that those two people get back together. I hope that guy's not actually dead. I hope they find the killer, whatever. That's not always how it happens in life. Like, people just have to carry on with their life. And in that film, in that situation, that's the way they closed it up. If you've not seen that film, I apologise, but it's been out for ages. I've not really given you a spoiler. But yeah, we watched that. And then on the car journey home, I don't know what I was telling her about, but I mentioned Richard Pryor. And she was like, "Oh, I used to love him." I was like, "What? You used to love Richard Pryor?" I'm not surprised. She would have been growing up around that time. I think we were talking about Princess Diana. And then I said about how I saw a picture of Princess Diana at the LA Comedy Store with Willie Nelson, Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, all these different people. Princess Diana's in there, in that picture. And it's because my mum looked like Princess Diana as when she was younger. Well, if Princess Diana was alive, she's a similar age to my mum. She's like 4 years younger. She probably would look the same now, unless she had loads of plastic surgery and that. Anyway, but yeah, my mum said she liked Richard Pryor, and I was like, that's what we're going to do next time. We're going to watch Richard Pryor films. I've not really seen many of them. Yeah, that'd be good. I'm going to watch Richard Pryor films with me mum. What do you reckon? I think that the lockdown and the fact that I lived with my mum for quite a while before I moved to Manchester, it's made me closer to her. Even though we lived together for a long time, I was closer to her then than I was in my young adulthood. But now that I've moved out and now that we live quite far apart and there's not much going on and stuff, there's more opportunity for me to ring her up and have a chat with her and obviously I went seeing her, and I feel like it's a good thing. I feel like I'm appreciating family more as I get older. Yeah. And this is another thing that I could take us on to. When I look at where I am in my life now, turning 30 in 7 months' time, the big 30, yeah? For the people watching this, I've just written 30, but it's in reverse now. I'll just have it pop up behind me. Why? Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to turn 30 soon. When I look at where I am in my life, I could be in a long-term relationship, living with that person. I could be married, maybe. Could have had kids. Could have been a manager in the job that I'm in now, swimming teaching. I could be a manager. I'm running out of fingers. I have a qualification in that, in level 3 in leisure management. So I could be a manager. I could have a car. Could be doing all that life. But because I chose to do stand-up, the reason I've not got all those things is the sacrifice of it. And I was thinking recently, and that sounds really dramatic. I sacrificed. Or it also sounds like you're going, no, mate, you just couldn't do that. Like you could have done that, but you didn't, did you? Because you're a shitbag. But no, the truth is, I could have done all that stuff. I was in opportunities where I could have gone, okay, now I'm going to, when I was a manager at one point, I could have gone, all right, I'm going to keep going up the ladder until I'm making loads of money and I'm like a big manager guy. There's loads of options I could have done with my job. I could have been working more hours instead of 12 a week or something like that. I could have put more time into relationships and things like that, or whatever. Could have travelled more. But because I chose to do stand-up, all those things, they're kind of on hold. So I feel like when I'm looking at how other stand-ups that I admire have done it, and they had to have, I heard Bill Burr saying on something recently that he bombed for he said at first the first 5 years, and I was like, I'm not even 5 years in, so that feels good. But he also said it was even the first 11 years really when you can walk out on stage and know that you're actually a stand-up and you're probably not going to bomb, you're probably going to do well. When you feel comfortable in your job, it's only when you start selling tickets for your own shows, and that could be 10, 11 years, 12 years in the future. So I just look at it like I'm in the first year of college, and I've still got to do all of college. I've still got to do university like a doctor. I've got to do 7 years of university or whatever. So yeah, I'm feeling more positive about those things. I look at where I could be in life, and I kind of go, oh well. I watched the thing, this is a good way of putting it, watched the show I'm Dying Up Here. I've watched it twice now, and it's about 70s America, LA, and it's I
will tell you wonderful stories, simple ones.
It's kind of based on the Comedy Store. It's got Andrew Santino in it, one of my favourite comedians. Anyway, at one point, there's one of the stand-up comedians, the female comedians, she is at a wedding, and she's feeling like, oh, look at the life I could have had I not chosen to do this crazy thing of going doing stand-up. And Andrew Santino's character says to her, if you did have that life, it would just be a different regret. You would just be in that life going, I wish I had done stand-up. And if you're in stand-up, you go, I wish I would have had a family and kids and stuff. But that takes years as well. That's like a sacrifice in itself. So my sacrifice was different. Do you know what I mean? And it's making me less doomed. Oh God, what if it doesn't work? It's just well, it takes a long time. You just got to keep plugging away at it. And that's the way I've kind of been looking at it recently. Like that. I should have really gotten a call ready so I could have rang somebody up. Maybe chatted about other comedians.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now.
But I don't have any time for any gossip now, so... What do you think of the soundboard thing? Is it weird? Is it funny? Is any of it funny? I should have really planned to have more to say. So, what I'm going to do instead is just give you that. Just a little check-in with you. Tell you a few things. Check that you're alright. You're alright. I hope you are. Remember, the lockdown isn't permanent, even though it seems that they said it's going to be December the 2nd, but they've also extended the furlough till March. What does that mean? Anyway, remember, this too shall pass. Just focus on some stuff that, if you can't do your job, if you can't see certain people, focus on things that whenever you're with them or whenever you're at work, you're going, I wish I had more time for that. Now you do. So, get on it. Yeah, I wish you the best of luck with all of your life. I'm feeling good. My asshole's stinging. I'm gonna get some guests on, and obviously we're gonna use the magic of editing to have us both appear to be in the same room, but we're not really in the same room. We're not both sat on this couch in my living room. Oh. Don't know why I sounded like I was choking up when I said room then. Yeah, so thanks for having us. Get curtains drawn. Have a nice sleep or have a nice day, depending on when you're watching this. Call your mother, call your grandmother, call your nieces and nephews, hug your child, write in your diary, make some healthy food. Actually, do you know what I will say before I go? Another thing I've been doing is I have an app on my phone that I used to use ages ago when I first started eating not meat. When I first stopped eating meat and I was really health conscious, I used to use this app called Chronometer. And basically, you put in what you've been eating that day, and it gives you like a breakdown of all your nutrients and stuff, how much protein, how much fat, how much carbs you've been having, how much of each vitamin you've been getting, and all that stuff. And I used to like this, even just saying that out loud, I sound like some sort of, I'm trying to be some sort of like, oh, you know what, guys, I eat right, I exercise, I'm an influencer. But that's really not what it is. It's more like, if I check that list, and all the vitamins are like in the green, like you're getting everything you need, then that will give me peace of mind that I'm not, when my back hurts. Because the other day, I threw my back out bad by lifting my arm up to lift my hood up. I went to lift my hood up, and at the moment that I grabbed my hood, I just, and I had to go and sit down in the middle of Manchester, just on the side of the road, just going, just trying to sit just for a moment so it was like spasming. And I wonder if it's being sedentary and not doing enough exercise and not stretching enough, having bad posture, but I wonder if it's a lack of certain vitamins and things like that. So that's what I'm trying to do. If I get that app and I put in what I've been eating, and it's telling me that I'm hitting all the nutrients and I'm eating well, then I have peace of mind then that if I don't feel well in a certain way, mentally or physically, I'm like, well, it's not what I'm eating. I'm eating good, so it must be this. But sometimes it's probably you've just not been getting any iron, mate. You've not been getting any calcium. Your belly's rumbling right now because you've not eaten enough today. So that's what I'm going to go and do now. So I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. It's a little wee one, as I said. And take care. Oh yeah, awful ending. Shit.
All you got to do, you just got to commit to this shit, and then realize that sleeping on a futon when you're 30 is not the worst thing. It isn't. You know what's worse than sleeping on a futon at 30? Sleeping in a king bed next to a fucking woman you're not really in love with, but for some reason married, and you got a couple of kids, and you got a job that you fucking hate. Okay, you'll be laying there fantasizing about fucking sleeping on a futon. There's no risk when you go after a dream. It's all fucking reward. It's all going to lead to something good. It always does. There's a tremendous amount of risk to playing it safe, and that leads to unbelievable levels of regret, which is something else I've also experienced because I'm an old motherfucker.